and Amanda will be sharing some information about what River Alliance has been doing with aquatic invasives and some volunteer opportunities for you this year.
So thanks for the introduction. I'm the Aquatic Invasive Species Program Director for the River Alliance of Wisconsin, and I lead all the volunteer opportunities for invasive species with our organization. Today I'll just talk a little bit about what programs we have, some of the trends that we've seen in involvement, as well as some of the things that we can do when species are discovered on our streams. So there's a variety of programs used in Wisconsin for aquatic invasive species monitoring, but there are two in particular that the River Alliance are in charge of, the Snapshot Day protocols and Project Red. Project Red was our first volunteer program where basically we get groups of people together, we train them how to identify aquatic invasive species, and then we ask the volunteers to adopt a segment of stream. Either volunteers can paddle the stream segment, or they can actually get in the water and wade stream segments depending upon their access to kayaks and canoes or their comfort levels with getting into the stream. And then we have people report the findings in the DNR's SWIMS database. There's about 21 species that we have for volunteers to learn. It's kind of a lot, so most of our trainings, we don't necessarily have all of these plants for every volunteer, but we'll pick a subset of plants aimed at the specific area of the state, depending upon what the local concerns are, or if there is a project, like the DNR will fund projects for eliminating specific species in specific areas. If the DNR or local partners need data on certain species, then we have those be the species the local volunteers learn about. So this project started in 2009. And between the period of 2009 and 2015, we had about 343 people that got trained in this program. And generally, we ask people to, when they're trained, to go out to a stream twice a year, once in the early season to get early season species, and then once later in the season to get later season species. Since things like yellow iris aren't as easy to spot later, or like curly leaf pondweed dies off mid-summer, it's good to get those ones early on, and then other species are more prevalent in the fall. But as you can see from the numbers, where we had 343 people in SWIMS listed as being trained in Project Red, we only ended up having 141 fieldwork events, which means that people only went out onto streams 141 times. So there was a little bit of discrepancy between trainings and actual participation in our program, Project Red. On this map, you'll kind of see in the reds are all the areas where people have gone out and done Project Red monitoring. So there's still plenty of areas in our state, plenty of stream length left that needs to have volunteers monitor. So one thing we found when we were analyzing this program, one of the reasons we didn't have as much volunteer participation is there aren't always local coordinators to help with the trainings. We found that in the counties that had local AIS coordinators funded by the state to give local trainings, we had more volunteer participation. Also, it's a bit of a higher commitment than some of our other programs because it involves going out multiple times in a year to a stream site and possibly multiple years in a row. And we're finding that sometimes data isn't actually being entered, that people are monitoring streams, but maybe they don't find an invasive species, so sometimes people don't enter the data. However, we really like to know when there is something there as well as when there isn't something there. It's good to see for perspective when something is monitored and we don't find anything. And so due to this kind of discrepancy in participation, River Alliance developed a Snapshot Day. Snapshot Day, it's a one-day event that involves multiple sites across the state. We get local AIS coordinators to train volunteers in about an hour and a half training in the morning, where volunteers get to learn how to identify different invasive species. Once again, we have about 22 species, but the local sites might have a subset of those species depending upon their local needs. And then after volunteers learn how to identify, they are taught how to do monitoring protocols that are used by stream biologists with the DNR. And then we ask them to go out to local stream sites, collect data, and then bring the data and any samples of invasive species they found out on the stream back to the site where they originally had their training. And through that, volunteers in one quick day get to learn the invasive species, they get to go out, they get to bring their things back, and they get some feedback as to whether the things that they found were actually invasive or not. Because another intimidating thing that volunteers found was wondering if they really were finding things of value. And so we found that Snapshot Day was great for volunteers to get instant feedback and to hand in their data quickly. And we could get it up into the database a lot quicker through this program. So the first Snapshot Day was in 2014. If you can see from the map, the stars, which are a little hidden by the dots, where we had monitoring sites, and then the circles and the diamonds were where we had, the stars were where we had rendezvous sites where the trainings took place, and the dots and diamonds were where volunteers actually went and monitored close to those rendezvous sites. Overall, we had 17 rendezvous sites, and we got 142 sites monitored. So in this one-day event in 2014, we got more sites monitored than we had in 6 years of Project Red monitor trainings. So we ended up getting 161 volunteers, and we found a wide variety of invasives, including zebra mussels, faucet snails, purple loosestrife, and Eurasian water milfoil. So in 2015, we had another one in August 29th, and once again we got a large number of monitoring sites done, 131 monitoring sites and 124 volunteers. And then in 2016, we continued with this success, and we got more than 143 monitoring sites done once more. So in just 3 years of having this Snapshot Day, we've been able to get about 4 times as much data as we were able to get in the whole time Project Red was occurring. Due to this great success, we are going to continue Snapshot Day. But this year we are going to build on it, and we are combining efforts with UW Extension and their Susan Lake Monitoring Network coordinator, as well as partnering with the University of Minnesota Extension, where we are actually going to make this a 2-state effort event this year. And it kind of helps us kind of pool resources between people who live on lakes and people who are interested in rivers. We often have volunteers that are interested in both. But basically the Snapshot Day protocols were so successful in streams that the Susan Lake Monitoring Network wanted to apply them as well. So this year we're going to have 2 different Snapshot Days. We're piloting one early season Snapshot Day in the Rock River Basin. It's actually going to be a week-long event. Where our usual Snapshot Days we have a 1-day training. This one we're going to have in all the counties in the Rock River Basin. We have a bunch of different coordinators that pick different nights to host the training part, and then we'll have volunteers go out to stream sites on their own at some point the week following their training. So we have the dates range from June 10th to June 15th. So if you're interested and you live in southern Wisconsin, what we're doing in the whole Rock River Basin, including Dane County. We're going to have a training in the Beloit area, in Jefferson, in West Bend, and Columbus. So we have kind of a wide range area of places we'll be having trainings for this event. And then the Snapshot Day that we're doing with the Susan Lake Monitoring Network is going to take place August 5th. And that will be the same as our usual dates, where we'll have a 1-hour training in the morning, and then volunteers will be asked to go out to sites for a bit. Usually these events are done by about 1, 2 o'clock, so you still have a good part of your Saturday to do whatever else you're planning on doing. So we do have other volunteer opportunities. One big thing that we use volunteers for are for our response efforts. Whenever a species is found that we don't want in our waterways. For example, in 2015, there were 2 populations of water hyacinth discovered. One in the Winneconne area was actually discovered by a volunteer who had been trained at Snapshot Day that year. And then on Alaska in the La Crosse area, we had a population of water lettuce and water hyacinth discovered. When these things are discovered on streams, the River Alliance will help work with local groups in the DNR to kind of coordinate response efforts, which usually involve volunteers going out and paddling or walking streamlines and just searching for invasive species and removing what they find. And this has been extremely valuable to us because there just aren't enough paid staff to go out and hand remove these species when they're found. So in the cases the populations found in 2015, we had a few monitoring events take place, and we had volunteers go out and they took the invasive species out as much as possible, and then we had the volunteers do some more monitoring in 2016 to make sure things didn't overwinter and come back. And as of 2016, nothing was found in Alaska, and only a small bit found in Winneconne, as you can see at the feet of this volunteer in this photo. So we post this stuff on our website anytime we have a new invasive species that we need help with. So these response efforts and the success kind of shows that, like, it's more than just pretty picture opportunities. These snapshot events, they actually do bring about data and help us train volunteers that really do help us stop new populations once they arrive. Another opportunity for volunteering are wader wash stations. We have building parties every once in a while. We build these stations to put up on trout streams to help anglers wipe dirt and anything that might be hitchhiking on boots and waders off of their gear. We did a party this weekend and got 30 wader wash stations built, and they'll be added to where we currently have wader wash stations located throughout the driftless region of the state. So if you're looking to get involved, we post specific events on our event page on WisconsinRivers.org, including when we have wader wash station, building events, or response projects to remove invasives. But if you're interested in being a Project Red volunteer, or you have a group that would like to get trained in how to identify invasive species, you can feel free to contact me at my email or phone, or if you just have a specific riverway that you're interested in learning how to look for invasives on. We're always looking for volunteers for other office work as well. So lots of people like going out in the field, but I just want to put in a plug that there are other opportunities for people that might not feel as ready to go into the stream or physically able to do some of the more rigorous cleanup work. We do have data entry needs as well that helps with these efforts. So here's my contact information, and feel free to send me any messages if you have any questions.